Welcome to Whispers Within, a podcast by Raf Masiga, where each week we dive into the stories, reflections, and thoughts that shape our everyday lives. Whether it's personal experiences, a thought-provoking idea, or a simple moment of inspiration or yapping, join me as we explore the moments that make us who we are, one week at a time. Let's get into it. Hey yo, I hope you're doing fantastic since the very last time you listened to an episode of Whispers Within. My name is Raf Masiga. Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year 2025. One thing is we be grateful for a new year, for ushering this year. I mean, this should be a year of, if you failed last year, that is 2024 like me, this is the year to collect yourself. If 2024 was one of your great years, then this is again a year to give, that you should give a chance and do your things right and make sure that it becomes better than your previous year. One thing, let me start by saying I am super excited that we have an introduction, which I did during the festive holiday period. And I did an intro and an outro because, I remember in some episode previously, I mentioned that I really want to have an intro and an outro for this particular podcast, which is going to be running in all the episodes. And the fact that also this year I had promised of bringing stories. Trust you me, let me start, Lord. I am grateful. I am happy for the storytelling because I remember I promised you people and I was like, the very first episode of January is just me welcoming you to this year, to this episode, to this podcast, and then, yes, to this podcast as in the year of 2025. And then the second episode is going to be a storytelling episode. That means that next week's episode, we are going to be hearing a whisper from somebody, and I gave a hint in the previous episode, which was a Christmas episode. And again, let me just mention I'm super grateful for that episode. Thank you so much to anyone who clicked. Thank you so much to anyone who shared that particular episode. I mean, I just love you all. That is one of the best episodes currently on Whispers Within. And when I was doing it, it was just a very random idea that just came into my mind because 2024 because of my Christmas, I remember me talking of that some of us, when I was ending the episode, I think I'm going to be clipping that right here. I remember I mentioned of those people who have no idea of how they're going to celebrate Christmas. God is there for you and is going to, do his things. Just listen to this clip. My hope and thoughts are to those people who have no plan yet of how they're going to celebrate Christmas. Let me tell you, one thing is trust God, trust the process. Everything is going to be nice. Also to those people who feel like they're going through a lot and they be like, kidogo this year, I'm not going to celebrate Christmas like I used to do. I'm not going to be like in that happy mood again. Let me tell you, trust in God, trust the process, and everything is just going to be amazing. You'll just wake up on the 25th of December, guys, and you will not know how things are going to happen. But trust you me, at the end of the day when you sleep, you will just close your eyes and will just cry because everything will have fallen into place. And it is God who shall have made it fall into place because God will make sure that you've celebrated his son's birthday in style. Merry Christmas. My name is Raf Masiga. Yeah, so that is what I said. And when I was saying that, I was talking about, yes, that's somebody who had no idea, no plan on how he or she is going to celebrate Christmas. But more so, I was talking about me, because I had so many plans for Christmas, which never came to happen. And I remember these plans. I remember my mom was so in also in this plan. So you can actually say it was Yes, it was more of a family plan, but me and my mom was so in for this until when which date was it? I think 20th of December. That is when we started seeing the ishness of it might not happen. And yeah, then I was left. I'm not talking about my mom now here. I'm talking about me. I was left in the bushes. I was left not knowing how I'm going to celebrate my Christmas. I was left not knowing how my Christmas is going to be. So yeah, I sent my thoughts and my hope, to those people. And yes, I was sending it to myself. I was sending it to myself, and my Christmas was amazing. I hope that was the same. It was amazing. Trust you me, because I remember it was 25th and then 26th again. It's time to eat and just at the Boxing Day gifts getting a meal. People never gifted me, so my 26th was just me and food and drinks and chilling. By drinks, I mean soda and water. Until 27th, niligonga sherehe ya 2 days. Thanks to my cousin, sherehe ya 2 good days. When I left home, I remember I left home with my charger, with nguo za baridi, and I remember I told nobody that sirudi. I personally, I wasn't like ati naenda na sirudi, but nilikuwa naona signs. So you might go and not come back. Those who follow me on Snapchat, I gave you update on each and every single detail. If you don't follow me on Snapchat, kindly, you better do it, because that is where I usually give so much content compared to any other media platform that I am in. Anyway, this week episode rather, I want to talk about 2025. Yes, don't think that this is boring. I just want to give some pieces of advice from the lessons learned, my lessons. So last year, as I said, it was not a good year for me. I will keep on saying that. And 2024, it's past, na nafaa kuachana nayo, just like venye tunafaa kuachana na ma exes tukiachana. I don't know where that has come from. But yes, you understand. So 2024 to me, I can't complain so much, because it was more of, if a good thing happened to me in 2024, ilikuwa ina happen in a big way. You understand? But then again, if something bad happens to me, it was again happening in a bad way. So I can just call it a 50-50, but yo, hapana. So many remarkable things, by the way, happened to me in 2024. Things that I can say that I will not forget. Like those are some of the things that happen in your lifetime, and you'll be like, okay, now this one is for the books. I mean, there ain't no way I'm going to forget that this happened to me. That is 2024. And yeah. Again, so many things happen on the contrary that you don't like, you just wish never to remember such kind of things, But for 2025, guys, we are so hopeful. And I usually see people say that, oh, you shouldn't come to say that, oh, hii ni mwaka yangu, you shouldn't announce, because people might, try and do their ishness huko chini, and then they kuharibia your mwaka. But let me tell you something. It's always good to proclaim an year to be your year. Previously, I've always been saying, I don't know whether I did that for 2024, but previous years, I remember I used to proclaim a year to be my year. I used to mention what I want, and recently I came through, what are they called? These ad viewers on Instagram, those templates of ad viewers. I remember there was something that the first 5 words you spot are going to be your mantra for 2025. And I spotted my 5 words, which were amazing. I'm not going to mention what, but I remember I noted them down, because I was like, if I am going to pray for this year, then these are the things that I want to be mentioning. You understand? So yeah, that's me. I want to proclaim also this year. And this is something that I have said you should be doing. Let me tell you, if there's something that we do underestimate, is the power of the tongue. Trust me, I have seen the power of the tongue doing magic. I've seen the power of the tongue. Just saying something and it happens. 2025, that is what I want you to do. Can we just minimize talking or mentioning bad things in our lives, like bad things to happen to us. We might be saying it as a joke, yes, but trust you me again, it might not be a joke. I'm not threatening you. I'm not telling you to always be serious in life and not creating jokes. But let us not go to the depth of using our tongues to proclaim bad things in the name of jokes. That is one thing that I have learned in 2024. And also, in this year, let us learn to use our mouth to proclaim good things in our lives. Like, not always. Let me say this about money. I remember last year, let me not give that story, but when I shared that story to a good friend of mine, he was like, but Raf, where do people expect that unaenda kupata do? Nini. Like, these people are, I need 2K urgently. And that time, maybe you have the money, but you're not in the capacity to send this money to somebody, right? So, or even maybe you have the money, but just be like, sina do, and you have the money. Just be like, I can't tell you sina do, niko nayo. It's just that the money I have is already planned. I remember when, I don't know, it was a one-on-one talk between me and my mom, but I can't remember what we were talking about. And it happened that I mentioned that I'm poor or something. And she was like, no, you're not poor. It's just that today you don't have money. Those are the kind of things I'm saying, you know. Can we just not talk of us being poor again? If you don't have money, just say you don't have money at the moment, but because money is going to come. But the moment you just say I'm poor, can you just go to your phone, Google the term poverty? Are you ready to say that you're poor again after seeing that meaning? For me, and for those people who did business back in high school, they do understand the real meaning of poverty, what poverty means, when it comes to a point now that you are poor. Yeah? So please, kindly, let us try and check up on those things. Again, in 2025, to talk huko, it's now time to give you some good highlights for 2025. I remember when we started 2025, I think it was on the 2nd of January, I posted something on my Insta notes, which was planning in silence, acting in silence, hashtag 2025. What I was trying to say is this year, please, kindly, don't come to your social media platforms to tell us, I am planning this, I am planning that, I want to do this, I want to do that. Please don't. I remember in 2024 starting, Emmanuel K, in some episode of Campus Unknown podcast, mentioned that. And I remember we mentioned this and claiming that our villagers are at work. And trust you me, they are working, darling. So why don't you just plan in silence, act in silence, but then celebrate in public? How about that? This year I have said that I'm going to plan my things silently. And by that I mean not even my friend is going to know my plan. It's only one person who knows like a plan I have. And also I am going to be acting my things in silence. By the way, at some point it will only be my parents knowing, or even hata si lazima wajue. You understand? If I can actually see that this is a good thing that I am doing, then why should I just go and be like, napanga kufanya hii? And sit in nawaambia so that I can expect something like some financial support, then I don't have to. Let me just do it. Let me just plan it. Then let me just come and show you the results. I will be like, when it was on the second month of 2025, I planned on doing this. And on the 5th month of this year, I did it. I actualized my plan. And yay, I've started seeing the fruits. How about that? It's so sad that currently in this era, people are not happy seeing other people succeed. And when I say people, I mean even your family members, like your relatives, some of your relatives. And that comes to why you should take that lesson that I have learned and also let it be a lesson that you're going to carry throughout this year. Plan in silence, act in silence, then you can celebrate your wins in public if at all you have to. Again, celebrating wins in public is not such a good thing, but if you have to, it's better you celebrating wins in public than coming to announce your plans and your actions to the public. The other thing for 2025 is having goals. You should, I think by now, you should be knowing what you really want to achieve this year, right? Like for me, you don't have, let me give another tip. You don't have to plan for the whole of your year. What I have planned to do this year is plan for half of my year. That means I have goals set that I need to have achieved by 2025 June, right? So from June again, I am going to be writing down the goals for the remaining part of the year. With that, at least it's much easier to work on that specific goal. Because trust me, like if you just come and list all your goals for this year, and you just be like, from January to December, I want to have attained these. Trust you me, kidogo, it can be tough because you'll have so much on your table to deal with. And you'll be like, what am I going to start with? What am I going to finish with? And you come in to take this trick of planning for like portion of your year. Like for me, how I chose to do my plan twice a year. That means half of this year and then the rest. It's because I am going to write my goals with priority. I'm going to be like, this is what I'm giving the first priority to. This is what has the least priority, which is going to be coming later. Again, goals do come along the way. You understand? You might get to May and then you'll be like, okay, I now need this. And it wasn't somewhere in your wish list. So you have to add it. And as you add it, you have not 100% accomplished your goals for the year. You understand? So for me, the lesson or the trick that I have taken for this year is to plan for my year, yes, but do it halfly. Or what am I saying? Like, you understand? Like half of this year I have goals set and written down. I'm just like ticking one after the other as I do them. You know, when it comes to now June of this year, that is when again I'm going to come up now with the goals for the remaining part of 2025. And that is when again from June, July, that is when I'll start ticking them or going down till the end of the year. Trust to me, with that, I trust that I am going to accomplish most of my goals or even all of my goals so comfortably. I'll just be sitting down at the end of this year and just being like, this has been one of my favorites, you know, because I was able to plan for myself. I was able to act. I was able to write down my goals according to priority, you know. So there is that also. And where that is coming from, I remember when we ushered in the new year, again, Emmanuel K calls me and he asks me that somebody called him and asked him what is in store for them from Emmanuel, the brand. So Emmanuel is like, so what is in store for us from Masiga, the brand? And that is when I shared a content which I am planning to have. To have. You know, I'm not going to be mentioning what, but that is what I mentioned. But he has the idea of what I am planning to do. Yeah. So again, there's a challenge to you who is listening to this. What is that thing that we expect from you? What is that one thing or even that thing that people around you expect from you? For me as a content creator, and as Masiga, the brand, 2025, if all is going to fall into place in terms of the things I need for content creation, then I have such huge plans for people, for you guys, for everybody who follows me, for everybody who's going to interact with my content this year. I am planning such a good thing, which is not going to be starting beginning of this year. I mean, January, February, no. Yeah, but later, it's going to be coming, and I just want to do it in such a big way. Yeah, I just don't want to be like, I'm a beginner, so let me start like, no. No, nimebegin sana kwa hii media industry. Nimebegin sana. Like everything I have touched, by the way, funny thing, in this line of media, in the beginning, I have always been doing things in a very poor way because, I'm just like telling myself it's just the beginning and I just don't have to do it in a big way. But now this one, I am never saying that again. Imagine you can start something with a bang. It doesn't mean simply because you've not been on this particular lane or career or line, then if you want to venture into that particular thing, then you have to start. It doesn't mean that, baby. It doesn't mean that. Sit down, plan it well, and start it with a bang. Anyway, let us be hopeful. Those are the lessons that I have learned. If any other lesson pops up, kama nimeskip sijasema. Actually, those were the topmost lessons that I learned as I was transitioning to 2025, and I was like, okay, this is what I need to check up to. Let me tell somebody who was like me back in 2024, who thinks that 2024 was a failure. I don't feel so, but what I feel happened was 2024 just let me down. Not that it was a failure, it just let me down. So for those people who feel the same way, let me tell you, that was just a year for us to learn. And this is the year for us to correct ourselves. Correct the mistakes that you learned you did last year. Correct them this year. And trust me, 2025 tutakuwa tunacheka na wewe. End of 2025, we will be smiling and laughing all the way. Because najua, God is with us. God is still watching us. God is still doing and planning greater things for us. Anyway, guys, I didn't want this episode to run for so long. But again, let me just mention how excited I am because next episode is the beginning of stories right here on Whispers Within. The beginning of Whispers right here on Whispers Within, a podcast by Raf Masiga. Thank you so much for keeping me company to the very end. Let's wait for next week. I can't keep calm. I have already edited that episode, already scheduled that episode. So, all the enemies of progress, you cannot overwork. Iko already scheduled. Kitu imebaki ni siku ifike, ijipost. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Thank you so much. I wish you a happy new year, 2025, a year full of God's blessings, favor, grace, good health, and everything nice. Till next time, goodbye. Thank you for joining me on this week's episode of Whispers Within. I hope you enjoyed our time together and found something to reflect on or be inspired by. If you liked what you heard, be sure to follow this podcast and rate it a 5-star podcast. Also share this with your friends and family. I would also love to hear your thoughts and feedback, so feel free to reach out. Links to my social media platforms are in the description box and also the link to our email. Until next time, keep reflecting and keep the whispers alive. My name is Raf Masega. See you next week.